Good afternoon, evening, depending on where you are, I guess. Welcome to Leonard Leans Left, while it's still legal. Glad to have you here. There's a lot going on as usual. Tariffs on, tariffs off. Nobody seems to know. This is the funniest part. They said that there was a call. Justin Trudeau called the White House, and it was just J.D. Vance and Trump yelling at Trudeau and being dicks, and then they backed off. I don't know what they think they're doing. I mean, I don't. You need to start an argument with somebody and then give them everything anyway. It's like, what was the point of the argument? These guys just want to act tough. They want to act like tough guys. Like that's what it seems like to me. Like, J.D. Vance especially. J.D. Vance got a big fucking mouth for somebody who's never accomplished anything in his fucking life. I mean, look at the J.D. Vance resume. He was a Marine, right? He went to Iraq. Did he fight? No. He wrote press releases from a trailer. Then he came back, went to Yale, became a Peter Thiel Nutlicker. And he has a law degree, but instead of using his law degree, he went to work for for Peter Thiel as a venture capitalist guy. And if you read the stories, they said he never even worked. Thiel was just paying him to hang around. So then he writes this bullshit book about being a hillbilly, which he isn't. He's as much of a hillbilly. I mean, I'm probably more of a hillbilly than he is. But maybe on the same kind of level, right? Where sometimes I went to places where it was fucking hillbilly, but like I didn't live there. Maybe it's a cousin of mine or some shit. I definitely seen the Appalachian life, but I never lived in it, and neither did he. His grandma had lived in some town, and I can't even remember the name of the town, down in Kentucky, and he went there in the summertime. Other than that, he's from Middletown, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cincinnati. He's not a fucking hillbilly, like. He's not. I mean, I guess we're all the people from here are hillbillies, in a sense, but we're not. Hillbillies, like he tried to pretend like he's a real hillbilly, you know, with outhouses and. Now I did live in a house that had a cistern. We didn't have city water. We had to have a truck come out and fill up the cistern every month. So you had to watch out, like you couldn't take, you know, fucking 15-minute showers. You had to monitor the water use. That's close to being a hillbilly, is, you know, that's more than J.D. Vance ever, like I said. He lived in Middletown. He's not a fucking, he's fake. Anyway, so he's a fake venture capitalist. He's a fake hillbilly. He's a fake venture capitalist. And then he decides he's going to run for the Senate. And the only reason he won the Senate race is because Trump came in here and endorsed him, which, you know, they say it's not a cult, but if Trump tells them to do something, they fucking do it. You know, they didn't like the guy. He barely won. Even with Trump's support, he barely won. So then he's in the Senate, and what does he do? Nothing. It's a familiar pattern in this guy's life. He hasn't really done anything. And now he's in the fucking Oval Office talking shit. I said, these guys are... It seems like deep down inside they're nobodies, and they want to act tough. You know, they want to project this toughness. You know, like, but they're not really tough. And the chat box is up, so if you're watching, you can talk to me. I prefer that. I'd like to hear what you think. I don't know if you know what's going on, but Trump cut off Ukraine. First, he cut off their aid, so there's no weapons going to Ukraine or money. As of right now. And they said they have enough weapons to fight for several weeks, maybe a month, before it becomes a problem. So right now the Europeans are massing together and trying to figure out how they can pick up the ball that Trump just left on the court, I guess. Then he cut off the intelligence. He said, no longer can we share intelligence with Ukraine. Then he tries to tell the UK that they can't share intelligence with Ukraine either. Now, I'm not saying this guy's a Russian agent. But if you were a Russian agent, what would you do? I mean... I'm so sick of the whole, like, Russia, hoax, it's a hoax. Like, everything I said in 2015 is coming true right now. And they said today that he wants to leave NATO. Well, I mean, well, you know he wanted to leave NATO, but I'm saying he's actually thinking about, he's going to lay down conditions on NATO that we're not, even though we only spend 3%. Now, you know how big the military budget is, right? We only spend 3% of our GDP on the military, right? He wants them to spend 5%. And if they don't spend 5%, then we won't defend them, including even pulling out troops from countries in Europe. Now, I'm not saying he's a Russian agent, but if you were a Russian agent, what would you do? Well, these are the questions that I mean, I've been saying this, I've been yelling this since 2015, and the only reason that he didn't do all this stuff the first time was because there was a lot of patriots still in the government and in the Republican Party. I mean, not many in the Republican Party, but there was a few left that stopped him from doing shit. And they're all gone. There's no one left to stop him from doing any of this stuff. And the only way now to get out of this situation is to impeach him and remove him from office. And then he should be charged with treason, if you ask me. But, I mean, that's another fucking story. But, that's not to mention what he's doing here. Okay. He's also, at the same time, systematically dismantling the government. Now, if I told you that people lived in a free country, supposedly the richest country in the world, and it was a democracy, but that they would vote to destroy all their safety nets to destroy the alliances that we've had since World War II. All of a sudden side with Russia, so that 10 people couldn't play sports. That's basically what happened. They're still talking about it now. I mean, I don't know if you saw that speech. He said that they were paying millions of dollars to make transgender mice. It turns out it's transgenial, I believe it's called, and it's research for cancer, things like that. But somehow we've elected like one of the dumbest people on earth to be our leader. I don't understand. I don't, it's, it blows your fucking mind, dude. Like, now he wants to he wants to dismantle the Department of Education. Now, if you look at a chart of the Department of Education where all the money goes, it's overwhelmingly red. Because blue states usually have a lot of money and they can finance their own, New York, California, they have a lot more money than, say, Alabama, Mississippi. So they're the ones that get all the federal dollars. So this is going to disproportionately hurt them. But they don't care because they want to be able to go back to the way it was before Brown Board of Education, and they could segregate schools and do things like that. This whole, like, bring it all back to the states thing, that's fucking Confederate shit. Now, I said this before in the beginning of the show, or when I started doing this show, that you might not have seen it, but that's what these people are. They're holdovers from the Confederacy. They want to destroy the federal government because they think that it fucked them up somehow. Well, I mean, it did fuck them up. It took away their slaves. That's the other thing. These people don't understand. Like, let's say we didn't have a civil war, right? Let's just say that we decided to secede the Union, right, and break it up. And the blue states were gonna make their own country, and the red states make their own country. How long do you think those red states will last? That's what they don't understand. Is, like I said, the overwhelming majority of these red states are propped up by federal money, and they want to destroy the federal government. Well, that's fine, but it's like. It's like if you decided that the cure for ED was just cutting your dick off. Well, you don't have to worry about it anymore, but it didn't exactly cure your ED. But now you see why the South didn't want to give up their slaves, because that was the only way that they would stay economically viable. Is if they had free labor. Because all they had was cotton and free labor. But, cotton made a lot of money, but they didn't have the, industrial capacity of the North, and that's why they lost the war. And that's why they would lose again if that was the case, because, like I said, these states are poor. They're not. The people that have money are from the aristocracies. They're still those families that had slaves. I mean, the problem is that people in this country don't know the history. Like I said, they forget shit in a week. Like Project 2025, for example, right? They wrote it all out in the book, what they wanted to do, what their entire plan for dismantling the federal government. It was all right there. And they tried to tell you, hey, this is what these people are going to do. And people said, oh, eggs are too expensive. Trump's going to fix that. The stock market's tanking. He's already tanking the economy. He's only been in office for a month and a half. He's already turning around the stock market from biggest stock market to it's 1,000 points down or some shit. And tariffs, he called the tariffs and the market crashed, and he said, all right, maybe I won't do the tariffs. The market came back up, and then he said, tariffs again. And then, no tariffs. And the stock market went down, and then it went up, and then today it went down. So I think they just said, you know what, fuck it. This guy's going to tank the economy until he shows us He's not. We're going to proceed with caution. It's amazing that a guy could do this in a month and a half. I mean, we're not even in a month and a half, right? He's they destroyed USAID. That was another thing I saw today. There's farmers right now in Kansas and Nebraska and places like that. There's grain sitting in a silo that USAID used to buy and then ship to Ethiopia and places like that where they need food. Well, they cut off all the USAID, so no one's buying that grain. Well, it's just sitting there rotting. Millions of dollars worth of grain. And these farmers are just going to lose. He's going to have to bail them out again. And we already been through this once. He did the same shit. The farmers got fucked. He had to bail them out, send them a bunch of money. Like, this is exactly what's going to happen again. Or he'll just tell them to fuck off and, you know. Either way, millions of dollars worth of edible food is just sitting in the silo, rotting right now. Because Doge decided that was communist or I don't know what they think. The more this goes, I mean, it's only been a month and a half, but the more it goes, the more you begin to realize that these guys really don't know anything about the world itself. That's why they're isolationists, because they're like, oh, the world is scary. I don't know nothing about it. Canada, they reprieved the Canadian tariffs, but it doesn't matter. Canadians are pissed. Canadians are pissed. They said they want all the American products off the shelf. They're sick of him saying they're the 51st state and calling the prime minister a governor and like Macron, the French president, came out yesterday, said that they have to be prepared for a world where the United States is not with them. This is a month and a half in. This is a disaster of epic proportion, and most people don't even know or care, or this is going to blow back so hard on us that and I know that Trump thinks that he's going to get into the dictator club and hang out with Putin and Xi and shit, but you don't understand. These guys are laughing at him. He's a clown. He's a reality TV show clown who's in way over his fucking head, and all he's good at is blustering. And like that speech, he's tanking the economy right now as we speak. They're looking to cut I don't forget what it is, $85 billion or some shit out of Medicare and Medicaid to pay for a $7 trillion tax cut for rich people. And he's up there talking about, this is the golden age of America. I've done so much. He's like, yeah, you have done so much, and it's all bad. There's nothing good. But then you turn on Fox News, and it's like, oh, it's all roses, and Doge is finding fraud and abuse, and they're not just firing all the wrong people and then trying to hire them back and then firing them and bringing them back, and then, oh, they brought them back, but the office is cleaned out and there ain't no computers or nothing. So, hold on a minute. We're the Department of Government Efficiency. They're like, you're fired. Wait, you're not fired. Wait, can you come back to work? We're sorry. Your job was way more important than we thought. We're the Department of Efficiency. It's like a fucking Monty Python sketch. But, I mean, it would be funny. It would be hilarious if it wasn't true. And he sit there and said, the days of unelected bureaucrats are over. But here's my unelected bureaucrat friend, Elon Musk. The balls on these people. I'll give them that. They're fucking huge. He's got some. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's like one guy with big giant balls surrounded by a bunch of dudes with none at all. It's like Trump sucks up their testicles into his giant testicles and then neuters them and he becomes more powerful. I've never seen anything like it. And the rest of the world is going to cut us off from intelligence sharing because they can't trust that he's not going to give their intelligence to Vladimir Putin. What does that fucking tell you? Now, I'm not saying he's a Russian agent. But they know something. You know, perhaps they've read the Mueller report, which most people didn't. And they spent all that time, you know, just hammering it and pretending like it's not true. Like, it's true. There's always been a nefarious connection between Trump and Vladimir Putin for years and years and years and years and years. And when he was bankrupt, someone bailed him out. I used to say it. There was a whole Facebook page. But all this stuff was there, and that's specifically why I was creating it, was so that there would be a record and an archive of all these things that I predicted was going to happen. And here we are. It only took 10 years, and Facebook scrubbed the whole thing, so the record's not there anymore. Oh, how convenient. There's probably other people that are like me that were doing the same thing, but I was on this shit from before he was elected president the first time. And I tried to tell people, and they said I was crazy. Now, again, I'm not saying he's a Russian agent. But if you're a Russian agent, what would you do? What would you do? You know, would you systematically try to destroy the American economy and the government from inside, while simultaneously aiding Russia in their fights against their enemies and weakening the NATO alliance, which is the only thing that keeps Russia from trying to run over Europe? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen now. I didn't think that it was going to come to all this, but apparently it has, and now Europe, like I said, Macron said that they have to be ready for it, and the new German chancellor said it too. That they're gonna create a world where the United States is not their big daddy or whatever. So they're gonna join together, and now Canada will probably join that effort because they don't want to be with us, and we're gonna wind up alone. And like I said, Trump thinks that he's getting into this dictator club with Putin and Xi and them. They're going to play him and smash us. So you better get ready for that. Because like I said, I was talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to. It's a hammer from both sides. Like China from the west and Russia from the east. Bam. It's going to be dark times ahead, bro. And Trump, I said, he thinks that he's going to get in this club. I said, they're laughing at him. He's a clown. He is not in their league. You know, Vladimir Putin blows up planes and draws people out windows and poisons people. You think that and then Donald Trump said, he respects me, like, he don't fucking respect you. Yeah. He's like, Putin's afraid of Trump. He can't even pull the trigger on a tariff. You think he's going to pull the trigger on on a war? He's doing the same shit he's doing to tariffs. He's doing to Hamas right now. They're talking about, there'll be hell to pay if you don't do this by Saturday. And then he does nothing. And then he's saying it again. If you don't do this by whatever, and then he'll do nothing. Like, and his people, I said, you turn on Fox News, they're like, oh, this is the greatest president ever. They don't talk about all the other stuff. I mean, the real stuff. See, this is how the right works. Let me, I don't know if you know this, but I've been studying them for quite a long time. And, I mean, if you're from here, you're surrounded by them, so there's no way to not be exposed to their propaganda, like on the local radio stations and things like that. So, there's a guy around here named Billy Cunningham. He's been running his mouth for 30 years, probably. He's a fucking fascist all the way. And, he was talking on the radio, and he says, there's a study here. It says transgender people have a greater rate of depression, greater rates of suicide, and that's because they hate themselves, and so that they have all these problems, and that's it. And that's what he says. Because that fits their narrative that trans people are terrible and unnatural, or whatever they want to say. But the truth is much more nuanced than that, isn't it? He doesn't mention first of all, the confusion inside of a person, if that is the case. Not to mention the shunning by their families, perhaps, or people like Billy Cunningham systematically treating them like shit, and like Trump right now, systematically setting up a system to oppress these people. They're getting jumped, randomly by fucking rednecks and pickup trucks, and sometimes killed. The fear of that. There's lots of other factors that would make someone depressed and may want to kill themselves than, they hate themselves. No, perhaps they don't hate themselves, but the society won't let them be who they want to be. So therefore, there's all these outside factors that give them, If trans people were treated just like every other person, that study would probably have a different result, is my point. And you can always get on these antidepressants that they sell on TV every 5 minutes. Here's my question about the antidepressants. They say on the TV, they say antidepressants may cause suicidal thoughts and actions. And I'm like, well, they don't fucking work then, do they? It's like, well, what happened to Bob? Well, he said he felt bad. Then he took these pills. Then he blew his fucking head off. It's like, the point is, what they do is they take things and they cut them. They take nuanced things and they cut them down to this most simple thing they can, that props up their point. Even if their point is complete bullshit, that's why they had to cut out 90% of the actual discussion, because what they're trying to push is bullshit. I mean, almost any issue you can look at the right, and that's exactly what they do. It's just like the Trump You turn on Fox, they don't talk about him tanking the stock market. They don't talk about the grain that's sitting rotting in Kansas because U.S. aid is cut, and then they're not buying that grain from the farmers. So the money was never going anywhere except back into our economy. All they're really doing is causing a bunch of disruption and trouble, and it fucking up people's lives. And now they're trying to get into Social Security. And I don't know if you have a grandma or a mom like I have. If she gets cut off her Social Security, she's in big trouble. I mean, she's got some money in the bank, but it ain't enough to last forever. She needs that money. And her Medicaid, they take care of all her doctors. If they cut that, what happens then? She's just going to die because she's already been in the hospital twice this year since I've been home. So if she doesn't have Medicaid, she couldn't afford that. People are going to die. There's measles running around like it's 1850. No one's talking about that. The old brainworm Bobby, he's out hiking, taking pictures of himself, selfies. There's the measles, like I said, tuberculosis in Kansas. It says like it's 1850. We're going backwards, like all the way back, the Wayback Machine. They drag us all the way back to the 1800s. If Trump goes through with these tariffs, it's going to cause inflation. It's going to cause a recession. The economy they already had to, he's been in office for less than 2 months. They already had to change the projection that our GDP would grow 3% to now it might go down 2%. That's a 5-point swing. Because this guy clearly doesn't know what he's doing. And there's no one around to stop him. And let's not forget either, because it fucking pisses me off every day I turn on the media. Whatever channel you watch, MSNBC, CNN, you turn on Fox News, I watch all of it. To try to hear what's going on, see what's going on, and hear what the other side is saying. And no one is talking about. There's people disappeared, man. While we talk about, should Al Green have gotten up and shook his cane and the decorum that we have, there's people in camps. There's people in Guantanamo Bay right now. And there's people in Panama, in the jungle, in some camp with cages in it. And no one's talking about it. Those people are literally disappeared. They're gone. It's unbelievable. Julia says, what I don't understand is why the fuck no one is actually trying to stop elongated muskrat. I like to call him the apartheid cunt. Because that's what he is. He goes on Joe Rogan and says he's not a Nazi. Look, if you have to say that you're not a Nazi, like you might not be a Nazi, but you're definitely a fucking prick. Definitely a prick. Like, well, I'm not. I mean, come on, I'm not a Nazi. That's what these CNN panels are like. It's like, take the CNN panel and then just go, like, that show Abby Phillips, oh my God. She says, people in this country don't talk no more. But on this show, they do. And then they have, like, Scott Jennings, like, who's the biggest nutlicker you ever see. Here's my problem, okay? If you're a commentator of any kind, right? And you never say, I think that my guy is fucking up here. He's doing something bad. You're fucking not a commentator. You're a propagandist who's paid to push that point of view, no matter what. Because Scott Jennings never says that Donald Trump is fucking up, ever. And he'll go to great lengths to get on his knees and lick the nuts and pretend like whatever he's doing is the greatest thing ever. even if, I believe sometimes he probably doesn't believe it, but that's what he's paid to do, is to shill propaganda. And they act like, oh, this is just a discussion. It's like the internet. Like, half the people you're talking to are bots. They're not even real people. And those shows are kind of the same thing. They're not having a real discussion. It's a bot discussion. Like, this guy's a Trump bot, and this person is a fucking, ACLU bot. But I mean, come on, I'm down with the ACLU, but you know what I'm saying is, you hardly ever hear somebody just swing from one side to the other, from one issue to another. Like, everyone's in lockstep now. And that's why Harris lost, because all these fucking far leftists were like, we're not fucking, we gotta do something about Palestine. And you're like, oh, Trump's gonna be better for them? Like, he wants to fucking ship them out? You take over their land. You think that's better? At least she's talking about a two-state solution. Now, the Israel problem is another. It's a third rail of American politics that nobody wants to talk about, and you're not allowed to criticize Israel. And if you do, you're an anti-Semite and a Jew hater, and that's not true. They're just like us. Half their people don't like Netanyahu. More than half, I think. He's not that tough. I don't know exactly how they have this parliamentary bullshit system. I don't know exactly how that works. But it's kind of like England, I guess, where they gotta get a coalition government, and he's got to get so much percentage of the vote, and then they gotta have so many seats, and then they get to appoint their guy, and then because he's in charge, they just appoint him. I mean, I don't really. Every country has some fucked up system, don't they? Where even if it's supposed to be a democracy, it really isn't, is it? Like, that's kind of weird. It's like an illusion of democracy. That is one thing that I do agree with Joe Rogan when he says that we should just vote on the internet. I mean, well, the internet itself is easy to manipulate, so not that, but I mean that kind of idea where it's just a big vote, and if we all vote for the same person, whoever wins the popular vote, that's it wins. They have all those arguments about, oh, well, the electoral college was set up so that, Rhode Island has a voice and Alabama has a voice, so it's not just California and New York. And that might have made sense, back then. This is fucking, I said, the modern world. The fucking, look at how many people are going to suffer because this moronic minority was able to hijack the system. And because they won, and he did win the popular vote. I will acknowledge that. But a lot of people on the left, they didn't vote. If they voted, we wouldn't be having this problem right now. They're the ones that put us here, really. The people that decided that, the Biden administration wasn't doing enough for Palestine and Israel. Because, like I said, here's the dirty secret. The Jewish lobby, AIPAC is it called, Julia? I believe. They're very powerful politically in this country. Without the Jewish bloc, you're not going to win the election. And they know that, so they strong-arm the fucking American politicians And so you got to support Israel at all times, or else you're fucked. Now, I'm all about supporting Israel, but that's not to give them a license to do horrible things. They don't keep them in check enough. They just get, because, like I said, if you try to keep them in check, they say, "Oh, you're anti-Semite." When you criticize Israel, some people get mad. Like, they just go along blindly with whatever they do. They're like, "Yeah, but some of it's bad." They're not innocent in this. No one is innocent at this point. There's blood on all sides. And that's why it just keeps going, because they kill their family, and they kill their family, and then their kids go, "Well, fuck it, I'm going to kill them." And their kids go, "Well, I'll kill them." And it never stops. Violence begets violence. It's amazing that they've been able to hold up as long as they have against, they have all that military. The very fact that they've been able to fight them for all these years is amazing to me in of itself. It shows you what people will do, like I said, if they truly believe in shit. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, Israel has always had their eyes on taking their land. They want to take it. They don't want a two-state solution. It's been on the table a couple times in my lifetime, and it almost got there once. 2 times people got killed. Anwar Sadat wanted to make a peace deal, and they killed him. And then Rabin was his name, I think, the Jewish prime minister. He wanted to sign a peace deal, and he was assassinated by right-wing Jewish people, who were then elected to power. What the fuck? They assassinated the prime minister, and then the people elected him into power, and that's where Netanyahu come from. Which, that's fucking nuts, if you ask me. Yeah, let's reward them. Just, what bad could happen? Yeah, they're about to make that deal. And then it was on the table again, a two-state solution, and Arafat refused to sign at the very last second. Again, no one was killed, but he pulled out because, obviously they probably threatened him. That's the point, though, is it's one of those things. It's never, as long as extremists are running discussions, nothing's ever going to get done. Both sides have to lay down the gun and say, hey, we really, really just want to talk about this and get it over with, and not the way that what Trump's trying to do to Ukraine, and just tell them, oh, well, why don't you just surrender? We want peace. All you got to do is surrender and give Putin everything he wants. Seems fair, right? And now they want to push out Zelensky, and you know why? So they can elect a Russian puppet, and you just roll over for Putin anyway. There's a reason Putin doesn't want Zelensky in office, because Zelensky's been able to fight him. Zelensky is not a punk. That's what was hilarious, is those guys trying to punk him out. Like, are you fucking kidding me? A mail clerk and a fucking reality TV guy is talking to this guy who's been in the middle of a war for the last 3 years, scraping his people off the fucking street and living in a bunker where hit squads coming to kill him, and you think that J.D. Vance is going to intimidate this guy? With this little fucking Oshkosh Bagosh pants. What's that all about? He's a grown ass man. Fucking, he has a wife. And his wife let him walk out with them fucking tiny pants. It's like, you know, when you sit down, your shins come out. You know that, right? It's like, it's part of his hillbilly mystique. Vice President Gomer Pyle. You can't even talk to her. I said. It's like, what? And then she goes, why didn't you ever talk to me? Sometimes I talk for 5 minutes and she didn't hear a fucking word. Like I might as well just be talking to myself. She's like, why don't you talk to me? Because you're not listening. She talks about the TV people like they're her friends. Yeah. Go over to the YouTube. Yeah, boy, they pay. You should. Do me a favor. Comment from there. Because no one has, and I don't know if it works. So I'd like to find out. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going for too much longer anyway. I already did the news dump. Did I talk about? They said that they're going to cut off intelligence because they're afraid he'll give it to Putin. He told his people, stop giving Ukraine that intelligence. Yeah, no, just put it in the shitter down in Mar-a-Lago with all the other stuff that collected there. Why would the documents? Oh, you're on YouTube? So it does work. Cool. I gotta say, this Restream is pretty cool. It works. It works well. Chat box works. Julia just commented from the YouTube channel, so we know that works. That's good. That's good. All I need is for people to start watching this show. My mom says I'm screaming down here. Am I screaming? I don't know. The other day I had Brian guessed I had headphones on. So maybe I was talking louder than I normally would because I had headphones on. I don't know, but she was like, you down there screaming, yelling. I'm like, I'm just a loud person. I guess. I get excited. All this stuff, I said, if you, I said you couldn't sell this. Like, you're talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk, think about this. You could literally walk with Elon Musk through a place where there's cages, where they have computer chips wired into chimpanzees' brains, like something you'd see in some weird, James Bond or comic book movie with a villain guy with, with this guy is literally that. That was one of the investigations, by the way, that he killed. Was they were investigating Neuralink for cruelty to animals, but that investigation has mysteriously gone away. That's what I don't get. He wanted to get rid of the Consumer Protection Bureau. He wanted to get rid, then they got rid of, they lifted those restrictions on that banks couldn't charge you fees and things. Why do people vote for this kind of stuff? It's like you're standing there like, yeah, kick me in the balls. Then they kick you in the balls. Yeah, I love that. Do it again. This guy's the greatest president ever. Man. Oh, yes. it's it's unbelievable. They say, oh, it's a waste. Fraud and abuse. Do you know that uh, the Doge people who are cutting the government, they're all making $150,000, $200,000 a year. Doge has already cost. I was reading the thing. It's a was it pro public? I think it's on my page, but it says that Doge has already cost like $40 million or some shit. So as much as they're cutting, they're also spending. So and they're firing, rehiring, cleaning out places. Got to re-outfit the place. Yeah, so I said they're owning the libs. That's all they. Thank God them 10 transgender people couldn't play basketball. It's all totally worth it. I'm just glad that my grandpa's not alive to see them just shit away everything he fought for in World War II. Like, that's why this is happening. Not enough World War II veterans left to make people really understand what you're dealing with here. Yeah, it's pretty sad that to think about that. I said I am glad every day. I'm glad my grandfather's not around because, and I said, this is just a complete fucking shit show of epic proportion and everything I said that those guys fought against. So when these guys wave their flags around and shit, like, don't fucking never trust anybody that always has a fucking flag pin on their fucking lapel. That is some bullshit right there. They're just trying to be like, yeah, they're fake patriots. Those people are interested in power. They're not interested in America like what it's supposed to be. Or they would be standing up for the Constitution and all that stuff. They don't care about that. You know, half of what he's doing is illegal, and they know it. That's why he's signing 1,000 executive orders, and he ain't trying to do nothing in Congress because that he can't get this shit through the Congress. The Congress met Elon Musk last night, and then he said, "Oh yeah, we'll let the Congress vote on these cuts that the Doge is making." Like, they've already cut so much stuff. And I said, it's only been a month and a half. This trickle-down effect is going to hit people in their real lives pretty soon. It's already hitting them people in Kansas. And I said, and this is the most insane thing, I swear to God. This guy was saying, well, I don't understand what he's doing. These tariffs have hurt us, but I'd vote for him again, but I don't understand what he's doing. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, I'd vote for him again, but look at what he's doing. Well, I'd do it all over again if I had to. To me, that's the most crazy part about it. It makes no sense whatsoever. And they say, oh, it's not a cult. Trump was right about being able to shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, and they wouldn't do nothing about it. And I guarantee you, they'd say, oh, well, he didn't shoot him. Well, he did shoot him, but he didn't mean to shoot him. Well, he meant to shoot him, but other people shoot people too all the time, and but I'm totally not in the cult. I don't get it, because I said I've never loved a politician that way. I liked Barack Obama, but I was never like, oh, I'd die for Barack Obama. He's the savior of the universe. There's no politician that's the savior of the universe. Okay? It's a bullshit game. And to get to the top of it, you gotta be a huge bullshitter. See, that's the thing, is the game has changed. And I don't think some people don't get it, you know. I mean, they're slowly starting to get it, but the game has changed. There ain't no more nice guy shit. Nice guy's gonna get rolled over. And that's exactly why they're in power. And they're very good at gaslighting. They're the best I've ever seen. Like what they did the other night, right? They pulled out that cancer kid, and they said, oh, this cancer kid, all he ever wanted to do was be in the Secret Service. And Trump was like, I make you an honorary Secret Service agent. And they all get up. And the Democrats are sitting there and they don't get up. Because why? Because Trump cut the cancer funding in Doge. Children's cancer research that might cure that kid. It's cut by Doge, right? So to protest that, they didn't stand up. So what do? They say, oh, look at them. They won't even stand up for this cancer kid that we're using as a total prop. They're really good at the game of being evil prigs. You know, they said they used the kid as a political prop, and then if the Democrats don't stand up and play along with this bullshit, then they go, oh, look, they're terrible people. They won't even support this cancer kid that we cut off his funding for last week. These people are inhuman. They don't have emotions like me and you. They don't feel like, you know, Trump doesn't care. You know how many people are going to die because Trump is, like I said, I'm not saying he's a Russian agent. Let's say he's not a Russian agent, right? Let's just say that he's doing this, cutting off Ukraine aid and cutting off their intelligence and all this stuff because he's not a Russian agent, but because he's a petty prick who doesn't like Zelensky. Okay, let's just say that's the reason. Thousands of people are going to die because he doesn't like Zelensky and he wants to be a little fucking baby. And people are going to die because of that. And he doesn't give one fuck about any of those people, or he wouldn't be doing it. He doesn't care. You know, that whole like, oh, Trump is easier for you, and no, Trump is exactly what he said when he was in campaign. He said, I am your vengeance, I am, you know, your retribution, I am the... These are just angry, disaffected people, most of them who can't get fucking laid, and they're fucking pissed off. And they think that the whole world's against them. Since DEI and all this other stuff is holding me down, and I can't free speech call black people the N-word no more, and I can't, and I'm being oppressed. And Trump is like, yes, I am your vengeance. And they're like, yes! Meanwhile, Trump's fucking taking their wallet. Steve Bannon stole from them, pled guilty for it, and he's still, like, invited to speak at CPAC. Shit like that. They still follow him. He literally ripped them off. They don't care. Because they're fucking stupid. Or they're fanatics and they don't, you know. It's totally not a cult. The guy just stole your wallet. Yeah, but, you know. Have you heard his views on immigration? Yeah, he said that immigrants might steal your wallet. Man, Meanwhile, he's just stole your wallet. It's a bait and switch. It always has been. Like, we gotta find the waste, fraud, and abuse. It's like they're the waste, fraud, and abuse, bro. The guy who's looking for fraud has literally been convicted of fraud. You couldn't make this shit up. Except if you. It's like a bad, like I said, Monty Python movie. Or something. Like Brazil, kind of, but worse. I mean, way worse. Brazil was like funny, lighthearted. This is like a dark Brazil. Narcissistic moron takes control of the world's most powerful government, decides to destroy it and intentionally tank the economy and flip around hundreds of years of alliances, and we're gonna go Russia now, China, and they're like, yeah, do it, because as soon as we're weak, they're coming for us. Buckle up. Well, again, thank you, Julie, for letting me know that the YouTube comments work. That's good to know. Although bad to know that no one's ever commented. And I said, I don't know, one day I'll fucking, hopefully, people will catch on to what I'm trying to do here. But I'm going to keep doing it, because I said, I ain't got no other choice. I'm definitely not going to just sit here while we all fucking slither off into dystopian nightmare. Which we might do anyway, but at least I'm going to be able to say, hey, I tried, you know. And I've been trying since 2015. If I would have started this show before Facebook scrubbed my page, I'd probably be somewhere now, because that's it. At that point, I had a big voice, I had a lot of followers. My Facebook fucking bang, cut me right off. Kneecap me. And start all over. That's a familiar refrain in my life. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back on Saturday, and hopefully Danielle will be here on Saturday. So we'll be talking about stuff. So, hey, there's fucking Vinny. Thanks for watching, Vinny. I said, I love you guys. Please tell your friends. I'm going to get out of here. I said, I'll be back Saturday night. And Danielle should be here with me. And so please tune in then, 6 p.m. Eastern. I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Who knows for how long. All right. Good night.